Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be putting together a flower, 3D flower shadow box. I have a shadow box here from Michaels, and I actually bought this a long time ago. I think I got it when it was buy one get one free or 50% off, I forget. But they have that sale quite often, and I know they still have these shadow boxes. And I cut out already and put together two of the flowers I'm going to use, and the SVG file for these, I cut them out in my Cricut, but the SVG file is actually from an Etsy shop, and I'll link that Etsy shop down below. They have a whole bunch of different types of flowers, but I just love these, and they're not really super thick, so they'll fit nicely into the shadow box. So we're gonna go ahead and put one of these together, and I thought I would just show you how to do it. She has a video that shows you how to do this, but just to kind of show you how it's done, there's 4 of the larger size flowers, and then there's 2 of a medium sized flower and 1 of a smaller flower. I already went ahead and folded these, but all you have to do on each one of the layers is just give the petals a little pinch. So you're just going to pinch it right at the little like heart shape of the petal, and you're just going to do that all the way around. Now I did find for the larger ones, I like to actually pinch them, but then I flipped them upside down and kind of pinched them a little closer to the center. I just thought that gave it a little bit more of a fuller look to the flower. So I went ahead and did that to all of the flowers. I just have to do my pinch on the larger ones. If you've been a fan of Cricut for a long time, when they first came out with a 3D flower cartridge, I loved that cartridge. I loved putting together 3D flowers. So this was a lot of fun. So I went ahead and did the other layers already for those, and I thought I would just show you how I put these together. I'm gonna have my hot glue gun here, as long as I don't burn my fingers. And as you're putting these together, I'm just going to put a little dab on the bottom, and then we just stagger our petals. So just a little bit on the back, and then we're just making sure our petals go in between each other. That glue is hot. And then we have our last larger size one. So we're already starting to build that, I'm glued to the table, we're already starting to build a nice thickness to this. And we're just gonna pull out all those little strings. Now when I got to the smaller petals, or the medium size layers, what I did was I just took this little mat that I have here, and because I used to have a pen or something that had a ball on the end of it that was great for doing the flowers, I don't know where it went to. So I'm just using my stylus for my Cricut. And all I'm doing is just in the middle, going in a circle, and as you go in a circle, it lifts your petals up. And then we can go ahead and put a little dab of hot glue in the back of that. And then again, we're gonna just keep staggering our petals so they go in between each other. So you don't want them to lay on top of each other. So I'm gonna take my next one, do the same thing, just do a little roll in the middle just to start lifting up those petals. And it's nice having this little foam here because it actually gives something to push down onto. And we're gonna do the same thing with this one. We want this one to be a little bit tighter, so we're just gonna curl that up a little bit more. And again, we're just gonna put that in the center, making sure that our petals are staggered. So isn't that pretty so far? All right, then we have 3 of these little like star-shaped cuts. And I cut this onto, so in case I forgot, this is Recollections cardstock. It's their multicolor. It comes in, I think, 4 or 5 different colors in the pack, and I use there's a darker pink and a more pastel pink, and that's the one I used. So I am going to take these 3 little star-shaped. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna use my stylus here, but this one we have to kind of work a little bit more. So just to get them going, and then I'm just gonna kind of pull them all up to the center. So this will be our middle one. So we want to make this one a little bit tighter. And then we're gonna hot glue it. Set that right in the center of another one of our petals. And now as we start to build these, we kind of want to push them down a little bit so they start to kind of pop out on the sides. And then we're going to add a little bit more hot glue, and we'll do our last layer. And again, we're just going to work those up to the center, and then you want to start pushing it down a little bit so that it starts to kind of create a little curl or a little bubble on the ends. And then that becomes our centerpiece to our flower. We'll put the hot glue on the back of this one. And there we go. They're just the cutest flowers. So I did 2 of them with the pink, or more of a pink or pastel pink color with the off-white center, and then I did with an off-white with the pink center. So I'm going to use 3 of those. With the file, you also get leaves. So I cut out 6 of those, and we're going to take our shadow box here. We just need to open up the back of it. I'm just going to use my scraper here for my Cricut. So I'm not going to need the little safety pins because I'm going to hot glue this down. And I think what I'm going to do is do the 3 just in the center, and then we could put our leaves in here as well. So we lay them out the way I think I want them to look. So I'm just going to do a section at a time here and lay down my hot glue. You're gonna need another glue stick. This hot glue gun, I like it, but changing out the glue sticks is very difficult. I loved doing the 3D flowers on the Cricut. When that first came out, they first came out with the 3D flower kit or the cartridge, I loved that. And if you're new to Cricut, if you don't know what the cartridges were, that's when they first started making the Cricuts. They had cartridges that you used. They didn't have any kind of design space. And then they came out with a machine called the Gypsy, which was kind of like a, I don't even know how to explain it. Kind of like, my son used to think thought it was a video game. It kind of looked like an old kind of video game system, but that was fun to use. I liked using that. If you probably go back in my library of videos, you'll probably see a ton of those kind of videos in my library here. I don't like where this one's placed. All right. This one is not quite stuck down. I didn't want them to be straight, but it looks like I put them on straight anyway. Or at least two of them. All right, we're just gonna let the hot glue dry. And I think that does the trick. Then we're gonna put this back inside of our shadow box. All right, so that should be pretty dry. So I'm gonna just put this back into the frame here. We're gonna flip these down. And then we'll flip it over. And isn't that pretty? So simple. You can even put a sentiment up on the top. If you wanted to do this, maybe make a great Mother's Day or birthday gift, or even a Valentine's Day. You could put like Happy Mother's Day or Mom or something on the top, or even, you know, love you or something like that. I think actually, you know, before we even do that, let's just go ahead and cut something out and we'll put that on here. I decided I wanted to add a little sentiment or something else to my box. So I cut out a sentiment for the top and the bottom, and I'm using some white Oracle vinyl, and I already die cut or did the weeding on that one. I'm gonna just have to pull out the center parts to my letters on here. I die cut this already, but then I realized I didn't pay attention to the welding, and one of my O's was filled in. So just remember before you cut, if you're welding letters together, to make sure that they are welded together properly, because you may have to take them apart and nudge a letter over just to get it so that it's in the right spot. So I'm just using my hand to grab all my little pieces here. And I am going to take some transfer tape. This is transfer tape I think I've mentioned in my last two videos that I got free when I ordered from someplace. I don't even remember where. And it doesn't say in the back who that's by. So I don't know where it came from, but I love it. It's a nice transfer tape, and I like that the tape itself has lines in it so that I can see where I am lining things up, because I am not one for being very good at cutting straight. So I'm gonna cut some of this down so that I can put that on there. And since I never cut straight, I'm gonna use my paper trimmer and cut on the lines and do this the right way so it looks better than my crooked eye. So I'm gonna start my transfer tape using my little pick here, because I can never peel those off, even though it's not a heavy tack. And then I'm going to center this on here. And I don't need all of the tape that I cut off here. Just gonna trim that down. I'll set that aside. And then I just need to get my scraper so I can varnish that down. I'm gonna do it in the front and the back. So here's a little trick to help you get center. Parchment paper won't actually stick to your tape or your vinyl. So I'm using that to actually help me with my very poor sense of whether something is straight or not, to make sure that my letters are straight and center on my box. And what I'm gonna do is kind of hold that, slip out my parchment paper, and then I could set my image down, just like so. Then I'm gonna use my varnish here, and we're just gonna slide this back, and there we have our first part of our sentiment. And now I'm gonna take my second piece, wherever that went to, and that's gonna go right across the bottom. So I'm gonna have to trim this up a little bit. Then I'm also gonna use my paper trimmer to trim it down. And I'll cut another piece, because my other piece of transfer tape is a little too small. So we're just gonna cut another piece so I can use this to transfer my sentiment on the bottom. Peel off the backing, and then I'll need to trim this down just a little bit. And I know for a fact that did not go on there straight. So I'm going to use my little parchment paper trick here. Just to make sure that we have this in the right spot, but a little easier down towards the bottom. Kind of stick that on there. We'll pull out our parchment paper, and then I'll use my scraper here to stick my vinyl down. I really love the Oracle vinyl. Usually sticks down really easy for me. And there we go. That is our finished project. I really love how that came out. It's so cute. I really love how this came out. I love that adding that bloom your own way was just a great little addition to this. And I love those flowers. They are so cute. The shadow boxes I know come in different colors. The ones I got for my class that I teach are white. I like this kind of more of a natural color. And then there's also, I believe, a darker color wood. I'm not 100% sure. But I really like these frames, and they're so much fun. You could do so many different things with these. But I always like seeing the shadow boxes with the 3D flowers inside of them. I just thought that was really cute. And then adding our sentiment to the top and the bottom gave it a great little finishing touch. This would be a great birthday present, Valentine's Day decoration. You can also do a nice spring sentiment on here. Mother's Day. You can go quite a few ways with this one. All right, everybody. I will link all of the supplies I used down below in the YouTube description. And that's it for today. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.